business is so disgusting that I can't.
Because that's exactly what happened to Wendy Williams.
His pregnancy is a way of keeping Jay-Z's alleged mistress away. Beyonce is going to use a surrogate so she can maintain her body, but they're going to play it off like it's allegedly, like they gave birth.
What if the biggest secret in the entertainment industry wasn't hidden in some private vault, but was sitting right in front of us the whole time?
I have 3 victims right now who are willing to give testimony about not only what Mr. Carter has done to them, but his wife as well. They're a nasty little couple. They do nasty things.
What if the woman who tried to tell everyone the truth years ago was mocked, dismissed, and eventually pushed out of the spotlight for it? Because that's exactly what some people believe happened with Wendy Williams. For years, Wendy built her reputation as the loudest voice in celebrity gossip.
His pregnancy is a way of keeping Jay-Z's alleged mistress away. Beyonce is going to use a surrogate so she can maintain her body, but they're going to play it off like it's allegedly, like they gave birth.
She didn't whisper rumors behind closed doors. She said things on live television that most hosts wouldn't dare mention. Sometimes she was wrong. Sometimes she stirred controversy. But one thing nobody could deny, Wendy always seemed to have sources.
Jay-Z's pregnant mistress, who died of an imaginary fucking aneurysm, just like the woman who was best friends with Kim and Kimura, who wrote the book Bling and died as soon as it made the bestsellers list.
And recently, the internet has been revisiting something she said years ago, something that didn't make headlines at the time, but now has people connecting dots. According to resurfaced clips and old rumors circulating online, Wendy once hinted that Jay-Z may have been involved in a shocking situation connected to the world of Jeffrey Epstein. But here's where the story gets even darker, because the claim isn't just about parties or connections or celebrity friendships.
Why is nobody understanding that Dream Hampton was being financed and ran by Sean Carter? They were able to go and get all of these witnesses because he was there with Robert Kelly. How does Jay-Z sit down with Gayle King and she not ask him one question about the intersection between him and Aaliyah and Robert Kelly?
The rumor says a woman was allegedly impregnated on Epstein's Island, and some people believe Wendy had proof. Now, before we go any further, it's important to say that many of these claims come from internet speculation and old media rumors. But the reason this story keeps resurfacing is because the timing, the silence, and the connections are raising questions people can't ignore.
Picture that is becoming more and more clear is that we aren't just looking at a bunch of wealthy creeps operating with total impunity. We are looking at a massive criminal network that may be responsible for the of hundreds of.
And once you start looking at the timeline, it becomes very hard to look away. Because the deeper you go into this story, it feels like a puzzle that somebody tried very hard to keep buried. To understand why people are suddenly paying attention to this rumor again, we need to go back and talk about Wendy Williams herself.
It's potentially a murder confession about Jay-Z's mistress, Kathy White.
Before the daytime talk show, before the viral catchphrases, before millions of viewers tuned in every day, Wendy was already famous for something else. She was fearless.
What was these people supposed to go to? You can't go to the boss because the boss is f***ing you. And the boss's boss don't get no. Can't go to the authorities. They're all bought and paid for.
Long before social media made celebrity gossip a full-time industry, Wendy was already exposing uncomfortable stories on the radio. She talked about relationships, affairs, secret children, and industry power games. And she did it without hesitation. That made her popular with audiences, but it also made her extremely dangerous to powerful people.
Now, I did a Rockaware photo shoot in Colorado, and I think it was during the winter time of 06 or 07. And Naomi Campbell was there, actress Jamie King was there, Jay was there, B was there. And he rented this house. And we were supposed to do this rap party for this photo shoot. We rented this house and we were watching LeBron play. And after the game, it had to have been like 10 or 11 o'clock. So we getting ready to party. Mind you, it's all adults, which I could respect that. So when 11 o'clock hit, we turned on the music, we started drinking, and then out of nowhere came these young I don't know where they came from. For a rap party at 11 o'clock at night, drinking, loud music, and us dancing wild, like, I don't know where these kids came from. And then I happened to sit down because I was dancing with one of the assistants. And I sat next to this child, and the child sat next to Beyonce. So I hear B say something about, doesn't this look or isn't this? And
Because when someone inside the industry is willing to speak publicly, the entire system becomes nervous. Over the years, Wendy talked about everyone: actors, rappers, billionaires, music executives. Nobody was off limits. And one of the names she often discussed was Jay-Z.
People on planes while they're unconscious, just like Aaliyah got on that plane. Unconscious.
Now today, Jay-Z is one of the most powerful figures in music history. A billionaire businessman, a cultural icon, the husband of global superstar Beyonce.
I didn't want to drip myself in blood and cover myself in swimming goop, in black goop, and fucking like wear devil horns to fucking sell a record. Fuck that.
But long before that image was carefully polished, there were rumors and whispers about his early career, his rise in the music industry, and the powerful connections he built along the way.
For the years, I've done nothing but collect information, knowledge, and your secrets. So if you and a man was in a corner doing something you wasn't supposed to be.
And according to longtime followers of Wendy's show, she was one of the first media personalities who wasn't afraid to question those connections. Sometimes she hinted, sometimes she joked, sometimes she dropped small pieces of information and moved on quickly.
The reason why they have, or they're already living separate lives, and we may actually see one of the biggest divorces in Hollywood, is because Jay-Z is up next to be exposed. And it's only so much of these stories that Jay-Z can, he can pay off or he can block. He won't be able to stop this. And she knows it, and he knows it too.
But people listening closely noticed a pattern. Wendy seemed to know things the mainstream media didn't talk about.
What you decide to stand up for or politically align yourself with is a window into your soul.
Then came the era when the name Jeffrey Epstein started dominating headlines. When Epstein's crimes finally exploded into global news, the world suddenly began examining the powerful figures who had been in his circle: politicians, billionaires, celebrities, business leaders. Many people had crossed paths with him over the years. Photos surfaced, flight logs were debated, guest lists were studied. And that's when internet detectives began digging into old interviews and forgotten clips, including Wendy Williams. Some viewers believe there were moments when Wendy appeared to reference powerful celebrities connected to secretive gatherings and private islands. At the time, those comments didn't seem like major revelations. But years later, when Epstein's story became public knowledge, the clips took on a completely different meaning. Suddenly, people were asking a new question. Did Wendy know more than she was allowed to say?
And that brings us to the rumor that has recently exploded across social media. According to speculations circulating online, a woman who attended gatherings connected to Epstein allegedly became pregnant, and the story claims the father may have been someone extremely powerful. Some internet users believe Wendy once hinted that the person involved was Jay-Z. Now again, there is no verified evidence confirming this claim, but the reason the rumor keeps spreading is because of how many strange details seem to overlap. And the story doesn't stop there, because according to the speculation, the situation surrounding the pregnancy allegedly caused panic among certain powerful figures. Think about it. If a powerful celebrity had been connected to a scandal involving Epstein's Island, the fallout could have been massive, careers destroyed, businesses collapsing, reputations shattered overnight. The stakes would have been enormous, which is why some people believe the situation was quietly handled behind closed doors. But here's the twist that keeps the internet fascinated. The rumor says Wendy Williams had proof, not just gossip, not just whispers, but actual receipts. And people who followed her career closely say there were moments when Wendy hinted that she had information she couldn't fully reveal. Moments where she would stop mid-sentence, change the topic, or laugh nervously before moving on. At the time, it seemed like typical talk show drama, but now some viewers think those moments meant something else entirely. Because soon after those years of explosive commentary, Wendy's own life began to unravel. First, there were reports about health issues. Then her show ended. Then came the guardianship situation that shocked her fans. Suddenly, one of the loudest voices in entertainment media had gone quiet. And that silence made people wonder, was it simply bad luck and personal struggles, or was something else happening behind the scenes? Of course, there is no confirmed evidence linking Wendy's personal situation to anything she said about celebrities. But for people who already believed she knew too much, the timing felt suspicious. And that's why her old statements are now being re-examined with fresh eyes. Meanwhile, the name Jay-Z continues to sit at the center of endless internet speculation. As one of the most influential figures in music and business, his network of connections stretches across industries: entertainment, politics, finance, sports. That level of influence often brings admiration, but it also attracts intense scrutiny. Over the years, many former industry insiders have hinted that the music business operates in ways the public doesn't fully understand. Private parties, secret negotiations, powerful alliances formed far away from cameras. Some of those claims are exaggerated, some are pure conspiracy. But occasionally, real scandals do emerge. And that's why stories connected to Epstein still make people uneasy. Because Epstein's world proved something many didn't want to believe. Powerful individuals sometimes operate by a completely different set of rules. The internet has spent years analyzing every detail surrounding Epstein's network. Who visited his properties, who attended his events, who might have known more than they admitted. So when people revisit Wendy Williams' old commentary and think they hear subtle hints about hidden scandals, the speculation spreads quickly. And in the age of social media, rumors move faster than facts. One viral post becomes thousands. Clips get edited, reposted, and interpreted in new ways. Suddenly, a 5-second comment from a decade ago turns into a full-blown theory. But regardless of what people believe about the rumors, one thing is undeniable. Wendy Williams changed how celebrity stories were told. She made gossip feel like investigative journalism. She turned whispers into headlines, and she forced the entertainment industry to confront stories it would rather ignore. Even people who disliked her style admitted something important. Wendy wasn't afraid. She said what others wouldn't, and sometimes that bravery came with a price, because being the person who talks too much in an industry built on secrets can be dangerous. It can isolate you, it can damage relationships, and sometimes it can end careers. Today, Wendy's voice isn't dominating television the way it once did, but her influence hasn't disappeared.
Clips of her old shows still circulate online. Fans still debate whether she was exposing real truths or simply creating drama for ratings. And stories like this one about alleged secrets connected to Epstein's Island keep her name alive in the conversation because people are still trying to figure out one thing. Did Wendy Williams really know something the public didn't? Or was she simply repeating rumors that spiraled out of control? The truth may never be fully clear, but history has shown us something important. Sometimes the stories that sound the most unbelievable end up having pieces of truth buried inside them, and sometimes the loudest warnings are ignored until years later, when the world finally starts paying attention. So now the question shifts to you. Do you think Wendy Williams was revealing real industry secrets that people weren't ready to hear? Or do you believe the internet has taken old gossip and turned it into something much bigger than it ever was? Because one thing is certain, the conversation about powerful celebrities, hidden scandals, and the legacy of Jeffrey Epstein isn't going away anytime soon. And if more information ever surfaces, the stories people once laughed off might suddenly look very different. So stay alert, because in Hollywood, the biggest truths often start as rumors nobody wants to believe.